Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody being here. The NFL season is right around the corner, and the New York Giants actually start their OTAs this week. So I thought it was a good point in the offseason to look ahead to the season and share 5 hot takes that I have for the New York Football Giants. They're going to be a little bit spicy, and I'm sure you may not agree with all of them. So if you want to continue the conversation about anything that I've said on today's show, you can always give me a follow on social media at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter. Same handle over on Instagram. The boss has told me I got to grow those platforms, so I'm asking for help for all of the real ones. If you don't follow me, please do so. It would mean a lot to me. Let's start with this one. I don't think the New York Giants are going to finish last in the NFC East for the second year in a row. And you might say, well, Marsh, that's not a hot take. And I would respond with, well, Las Vegas thinks the New York Giants are only going to win 5.5 games this season. So I'm literally saying they are going to do something that is opposite of what is predicted. We've talked a lot on this channel of how I think the New York Giants have improved a lot this offseason. If you strictly just look at the departures compared to the arrivals, the departures really only include the loss of one starter. That's it. Jason Pinnock as a starting safety, and you replace him with Javon Holland, arguably the best safety in NFL free agency. You also made a big-time splash move in signing Paulson Adebo. We know they made it a priority to attack the defensive line as well. They did that in round 1 in the NFL draft with Abdul Carter and round 3 with Darius Alexander. They signed Jeremiah Ledbetter, who I think is going to prove to some people that he could play in the NFL and is a solid run stopper. You also went outside Roy Robertson Harris. You added a lot of pieces on the defensive line, including Chauncey Golston, who I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to miss a little bit this year. So you get much better on the defensive side of the football. And you move on from arguably the worst quarterback room in modern history for really all 32 teams in the NFL. That includes Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tim Boyle, and Tommy DeVito, to Russell Wilson, a quarterback that helped a team get to the playoffs. You drafted Jaxson Dart. Jameis Winston is looked at as an above-average backup in this league. So the defense get much better. The quarterback room improves a lot, and hopefully Andrew Thomas, your left tackle, can't stay healthy. I also think that the Commanders or the Cowboys are going to fall short of expectations. Look, I understand that Jane Daniels showed that he is the goods, and he is going to be a really good quarterback in the NFL for a long time. And I am not debating that. But we have seen it far too many times. Quarterbacks in year 2 maybe don't take another step like they're expected, or not really taking a step backwards, but is the same quarterback he was in year 1. There's now 17-plus games of tape on Jane Daniels. Defensive coordinators' jobs are on the line, where they got to find a way to slow him down. I know they made some big-time moves. I think the Commanders could take a step back, and I don't know if it's just the hater in me of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think their roster is all that good, but I could see either of those teams finishing last in the NFC East, and maybe the Giants end up finishing third. I also think this could be the last season for Kayvon Thibodeaux as a member of the New York Giants. As we know, the Giants picked up his 5th-year option, which will be next year. He's entering year 4 in the National Football League. And this is not because I think Kayvon Thibodeaux has been underwhelming as the number 5 overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft. It's just that you don't draft an edge rusher at number 3 overall, pay Kayvon Thibodeaux big-time bucks, pay Brian Burns $150 million, and Dexter Lawrence $100 million. Like, maybe you find a way to do it. I would be a little bit shocked if you do. It's a salary cap sport, and you got to spread it out throughout your roster. And I know it'll be a little bit easier to potentially make that move with the Giants having a cheap quarterback on their team and Jaxson Dart entering year 2 of his 5-year cost-controlled rookie-scale contract. But I can see the Giants leveraging Kayvon Thibodeaux, who I think is going to have a good year this year, as a trade chip in the offseason to bring some talent to a position that could use it a little bit more. I think Abdul Carter is going to be here a long time, as I feel the same way with Brian Burns. So I think this could be Kayvon Thibodeaux's last year with the New York Giants. I also think that Deonte Banks, the year 3 corner, former first-round pick, is finally going to break out. He flashed a little bit in year 1. He went toe-to-toe with scary Terry McLaurin a little bit in those games. We saw him have some nice pass breakups on Monday Night Football in his rookie year against the Green Bay Packers. But year 2, when he was asked to be a CB1 and travel and cover wide receiver ones week in and week out, he really struggled. And there were times the effort didn't look good when he didn't chase CeeDee Lamb down as he just ran into the end zone. We also saw later in the season he didn't look to tackle all that well. But Deonte Banks is a smart kid, and he knows it is now or never when it comes to his NFL career with the New York Giants. And I think with the addition of Skattebo, who is going to be your CB1 and who is going to travel sideline to sideline and cover wide receiver ones week in and week out, that just lowers the ask of what you're looking for Deonte Banks. Instead of guarding wide receiver ones, guard wide receiver twos. Instead of having to fall around and cover Terry McLaurin, you now get to cover Deebo Samuel. Instead of having to follow CeeDee Lamb, you get to cover George Pickens. Look, life in the NFL as a corner is tough, but it's a little bit easier as a CB2. I think that this year he's finally going to show why the New York Giants traded up in round 1 to go and select the Maryland corner. I also think that the running back position is going to be a position of strength for the New York Giants, and I think Skattebo is going to end the season as the clear RB1 for the New York Giants. And this isn't me saying this because I don't think Tyrone Tracy is a good back. In fact, I do think Tyrone Tracy is a good back. I just think that much of Skattebo. I think he is going to come into the league and be the same type of player he was in college football, where he's going to run through people, he's going to shed tacklers, he's going to show off that contact balance, and he is going to fight, scratch, and claw for every single potential yard that he can get. And I think we may even be looking at a running back room where it's an RB1A and it's an RB1B. Like Tyrone Tracy and Skattebo, I think, can be somewhat reminiscent of thunder and lightning for the New York Giants. I like Tracy. This isn't an indictment on him. I think Skattebo, though, is a harder runner. I think he's more versatile. I think he's a better pass catcher. And I also think he's someone that's willing to stand in there and protect the quarterback a little bit more. Big fan of both backs. I would love it if both end the year as guys that teams across the NFL wishing were on their team. I could see it. I'm pumped up about the Giants running game this year. I'm also pumped up about their future quarterback, Jaxson Dart. And if you get your jersey today for Dart at chatsports.com/Dart, you're going to have it ready to roll for week 1 of the NFL season. So once this video ends, click the link in the comments or just type in chatsports.com/Dart. Get your jersey today. He is wearing number 6, at least as of now. So get your jersey and support the rookie. And with you getting that Jaxson Dart jersey, you're going to like this hot take. I think he ends the season not only as the starter, but he ends the season with a winning record. You look at where the Giants and their schedule kind of falls. And I think any time after that Week 14 bye week, you're going to be looking at an opportunity for him to slide in as a starting quarterback. If the season is completely lost after that bye week, he could start Week 15. And my record prediction, I think I had the New York Giants at 6-9 heading into Week 17. And I had Dart starting those final 2 games against the Raiders and the Cowboys, and he wins both of those ball games. And I'm going to continue to roll with that take until that take is no longer applicable. I think the Giants are going to be able to battle this year. I don't think they will be completely eliminated from the playoffs until maybe the last 2 weeks of the season. But if you tell me that Russell Wilson gets you to 6-9, nice, and then Jaxson Dart starts those last 2 games and he beats the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think are going to be very bad this year, and he comes in and beats the Dallas Cowboys in the last game of the season, we're all going to be excited, and we're going to be riding that high throughout the offseason, and we're going to be pumping our chest that Jaxson Dart is that guy. I said 5 hot takes, but you know what? I got another one. I think the Giants are going to be able to compete for a playoff spot. And I'm not saying they're going to win the NFC East or anything like that. I'm not even saying they're going to make a playoff spot. But that 7th seed in the NFC, that final wild card spot, I think the Giants could compete for that position going all the way to the end of the season. My goal for Big Blue this year, be a part of that in the hunt graphic, that NFC, that Fox, ABC, and all the networks are going to be showing all the way throughout the regular season. Be in the hunt graphic. That's, I hope, not asking too much, but where we're coming from, 9 wins over the last 2 years, it might be asking too much. My question to you before we bounce on out of here, the odds makers out west, Las Vegas, the NFL geniuses, they have the New York Giants at 5.5 wins this year. What do you think? Type O for over, type U for under. I want to hear from you in the comments section. Again, I'm kindly asking everybody to give me a follow on social media. I am on Twitter. I tweet about the Giants way too much, and I post about the Giants way too much on my Instagram as well. And James Yoder, CEO of Chat Sports, says, Marsh, you got to grow your social media pages. So I'm calling on the real ones. Help me out so I can get the boss off my ace at Marshall Green _ Twitter and Instagram. We'll see you later. Let's go, Big Blue.